Reddit, what do you know about your profession hobby that can help save people money? Regular soap is antibacterial by definition. Go to police auctions. All the stolen stuff that can't find its way back home gets sold off there. People steal the coolest and nicest stuff. I got a brand new 12 inches compound miter saw and a crazy mountain bike for about 5% of retail value. Some guy bought a yacht for $2,000 because he was the only one there with the capability to take it away. They aren't advertised and there is tons of stuff, so you really don't get outbid on too many things. Step 1. Buy a single serving plain yogurt with active culture. Step 2. Fill several mason jars with milk and bring to just under a boil. Let it cool to room temperature. Step 3. Put a heaping spoonful of yogurt in each of the milk jars. Stir it in gently. Step 4. Leave in room temperature overnight. Step 5. Refrigerate. Step 6. Consume with sweetener and fruit or however you fancy. Step 7. Repeat all steps by using a small bit from the jars you made. Infinite yogurt. I work in a hotel. This may not apply to everywhere though. It definitely comes down to company policy. But if you are looking online to book a hotel and are using Expedia or Bits etc., always call the hotel to check their prices and that the Expedia listing is correct. Let them know you are looking at booking through a third party and they will probably work with you. We sell rooms to Expedia only when we have a lot of vacancies. We sell the rooms pretty cheap and would just as soon sell them to the guest directly. A lot less hassle and more money. Obviously, we sell the rooms to Expedia for cheaper than they charge you, so usually you can get a pretty awesome price. However, if it is vacation season you might have a tougher time. I work in the travel industry as well, car rental, and you will get a better deal calling us or on our website than you will on a third-party travel website. Always. The third-party sites charge a pretty steep commission to book for us, so our overhead is less if you book direct with us. I am a consultant. Do not ever hire someone like me. That is exactly the kind of bold humor this company needs. Welcome aboard. If you have a problem with your computer, try googling the problem that you have. My friends all think I'm a computer genius, but this is what I always do. The newest milk is always at the bottom of the shelf. I hate my job. Jesus Christ, I hate my job. The newest everything is always at the bottom, except for frozen as they just put it on top as the date is long. I am a physiotherapist. Sit at your desk with proper posture. Get regular moderate exercise. Many of the injuries that I see in my clinic are injuries of underuse, not overuse. This is of course a generalization as injuries happen with sports or slip and falls etc. But the number one thing I try to get people to correct is their posture to treat and or prevent neck, back and shoulder problems and headaches. Teacher here. If you are a parent, spend as much quality time as you can with your kids, reading to with them when they are young. The long-term benefit is almost incalculable. Former daycare worker. Talk to your children like normal adults, minus vulgarities. They will be far more likely to succeed intellectually. Soaking blood-soaked clothes in Tide bleach alternative overnight may help prevent you from having to get new clothes. College instructor here. If you're broke and can hardly afford the required text for the class, you can always email the instructor ahead of time to find out alternate options. Maybe an older edition, oftentimes at a much lower rate, works just fine. Maybe a copy of the book will be put on reserve in the campus library. Better yet, you never know. The teacher might have spare copies you can borrow. I've loaned out a spare more than once. If you wear black and carry a crescent wrench, no one will stop you from walking backstage at a show. If someone does, just say you're local and they'll leave you alone. All I imagine is a mix between a Team Rocket grunt and the engineer going backstage to meet Cher. Do not buy a timeshare, ever. If you do, use it, because they're a B to sell. Behavior therapist. The key to behavior change is consistency. If you say you are going to do something, always follow through. Now actually getting change you want has more to do with reinforcement, but in order for that to even work you have to be consistent. Parents, if you want little Johnny or Susie to stop being a brat, stop giving in. They are a brat because they've learned that if they yell long enough, or cry hard enough, or generally be annoying, then mom or dad give in and they get their way. Don't let this happen. If you say no, stick to your guns and wait it out. If you say yes, then by golly stick to it. Either way, once the kid realizes that you mean what you say and that crying won't change the outcome, the behavior will stop. Don't be discouraged if the crying and crap gets worse immediately after you start following through. This is a good sign. It means they are stepping up the behavior because their usual way isn't working. Just keep being consistent. This is a simplification, but it is rarely more complex than this. If you cannot pay a medical bill, call the hospital doctor's office as soon as you get the bill. The office is much more likely to negotiate early in the process than after they sent you to collections. Some places will even give you a discount if you pay in cash, pay in full upfront. As a former pizza delivery driver for Domino's and Pizza Hut, there are special deals for everything. Never ever order pizzas without first checking if there's a deal for something you are looking for, or asking over the phone if you have to. I'm an early childhood educator here. Children are expensive, and they grow fast. Buy clothes at thrift shops while they are young. Most of the things have only been worn a few times, and you can get them at a fraction of the cost. Or, to save on costs, just don't have kids. Pro tip, arrange for your friends across the street to have a kid 5 months before you do. Free hand-me-downs for the duration. Never go with the cheapest anything by default. Always make an informed decision based on reasonable logic. As CAD tech working in a zombie construction industry, I can't count how many times I've seen an owner pick the cheapest construction bid, only to find that the contractor skimps on supplies, lies to the engineers about site conditions, and can't follow the schematics worth a dang. And my schematics are clear as anything. Short term is for suckers. Always think about how your wallet will be affected in the long run. Get homeowners insurance with mold coverage. Part of my job is mold remediation, and if you're not covered, your entire house will be fricked. I'm a high school math teacher. If you learn to think for yourself and solve your own problems as well as those of your loved ones, you'll be more critical about everything. You won't give away your money buying overpriced stuff or stuff you don't need. You'll know when someone is trying to pull a scam on you, or when a politician is trying to sell you BS. That is all. Back up your data or use online storage like Dropbox. Unless you have 2 backups, you do not have the file. I worked at a chicken wing restaurant and I don't have much to say, except that you should compare bulk catering size prices to the regular prices. We sold an 18-ounce order of fries, large, for $1.99. The bulk size was $14.99, but we just cooked 3 large fries and threw them in an aluminum pan. I've noticed the same thing at grocery stores. The larger size isn't always cheaper per unit than the smaller size. Walmart, for example, sells the sponges I buy for $0.85 each or $5.99 for the 6-pack. And there I was thinking you actually threw just 3 French fries in a pan. Learn to cook. It makes eating out less appealing when you know what you can make at home tastes so much better and cheaper. If you own a business that has any substantial income coming from credit debit cards, get to backup, dial-up wireless connection. If you are ever arrested, be extremely polite to the arresting officers, so they do not have any incentive to phrase their notes against your interests, and shut the frick up, so you give your lawyer more options to make things up on your behalf. The only thing you ever should say to a cop is, "Sir, ma'am, I am going to be as cooperative as possible and not interfere with you doing your job, but I am also going to rely on my constitutional rights and not say or do anything." Then, do not do anything but stand there until they either go away or arrest you, assuming you are not driving or carrying a firearm. Be nice to your wife and kids, saves $ on therapy. Tragically upvoted. If you are drilling an oil and gas exploration well, never let a lawyer be one of your partners. They will try to sue you if you drill a dry hole. Well, there goes my weekend. If you're on a road trip, you can park in a Walmart parking lot and sleep for a day or 2 without hassle. But don't be a douche and overstay your welcome and consider buying some stuff in appreciation. You know you need clean socks and beef jerky. It's a road trip. My dad gave me this advice some time ago. Apparently the first time he came to America was 30-some years ago and there were no Walmart parking lots to sleep in. He's also the man that told me never to sleep in a shopping cart. Wonder if that's related. Mechanic here. You are all getting screwed. Haha. No, but seriously, you are all getting screwed. That one mechanic you found that is really good and you trust him, he is screwing you less than the other guys, but he is still screwing you. I left the field because I felt guilty every day. I run a 75-person marketing agency. I've created ad campaigns for more than 100 companies, including many of the products you have in your home right now. Most of the things you buy, you don't really need. They won't make you smarter or more attractive, and they certainly won't make you happy. Try to buy as little as possible every day. Learn to separate your wants from your needs. If you really want something, list that item on a calendar for a month from today. If you still really want that item when the date arrives, then, and only then, consider buying it. You'll find that your life is a lot less cluttered and you won't be burdened with useless stuff. And always remember that labels and brand names are for suckers. I try to stay out of stores. I figure if I don't go in them, I won't be tempted to buy. It is surprising how well this works. Dry your razors after shaving. You'll get another shave or two out of a blade. I've lost track of how many times I've had to drive out to someone's house to push a few buttons on a generator. The kind of stuff I could tell them how to do over the phone. One trip recently was to do something that actually had clear instructions written on the control panel. Job security, man. Those are the best calls. Print your documents in draft fast mode. Public practice accountant here. Don't pay to have your taxes done unless you own a business or have significant investments. The average Canadian has 2 forms, T4 and RRSP, and 11 pages to complete for their tax return. T1 Jacket 4, RRSP 1, T4 1, FAM 1, S1 2 and Provincial 2, most of which do not require anything other than filling one box at the top and another box at the bottom because the rest of the form is blank. Taking it to H&R Block to complete in 20 minutes will cost approximately $150 after the filing fee and instant refund fee is taken out, and all they're doing is data entry any monkey can do. Do you make $450 an hour? Unless you really actually need that money to pay overdue bills, wait the 2 weeks for the file to be processed. Nothing too useful from the lab job, but as a pet store veteran, fish, problems with clarity, nitrate and phosphate levels, fish dying, dirt and etc. You're overfeeding your fish. Feed them what they can eat in 10 minutes once a day. Water still murky? Before you get $70 filter, try a $3 bottle of water clarifier. Crap is awesome. The bigger the tank, the easier it is to maintain. Reptiles, small animals. Unless you have a lizard that eats crickets, get the biggest enclosure you can afford when you get your pet, or beforehand online. It'll save you the cost of buying a bigger enclosure later. Get your snakes to eat frozen food. They're cheaper and save you time and money. Dogs and cats. If your animal is hyper aggressive, that is, even you are afraid of getting bitten by it, don't bring it out in public or expect anyone to groom it until you fix the problem. Unless you really like getting sued. Cheap dog cat foods, they're made of entrails. Mid-priced foods, entrails. Top of the line specialty foods, organic entrails. Also, if you're planning on buying a puppy or kitten at a pet store, I'd love to show you some Conflicts diamonds. Seriously, they are from puppy mills. No matter what the Clark documentation says, even from a purely practical standpoint, it is simply insane to drop $1,000 on a purebred puppy without at least seeing its parents to see their behavior and health. Mutts in general have better health and temperament than pure breeds, and you pick one up at the SPCA for a fraction of the cost. If you must have a purebred, then get the names of some local breeders online and visit their home. Check out their environment and both the parents before you sit down with the puppies. Good private schools always have financial aid available somewhere. Always. Photographer. If your budget is small, it is better to buy lenses than a new camera body. Most DSLR bodies will take perfectly fine photos when mounted with some sweet glass. A $7,000 body will take blurry photos with cheap lenses. You can get pee for free online. You always want to use soft water in your steam locomotive. If your water softener stops working, dumping the rock salt for the softener directly into the tender is not an acceptable workaround. This can cause severe corrosion and lead to expensive catastrophic boiler failure. You, sir, have changed my life. I now have 99 problems, but catastrophic boiler failure in my steam locomotive ain't one. You aren't gonna make money on the tables or machines in a casino. Make sure to get free alcohol to make up the $ you lose. I'm in library school, and I've learned that most local libraries have frequent book sales where books run 50 cents to $2, since it's whatever patrons have donated. There are usually lots of recent paperbacks and hardcovers for much cheaper than anywhere online. Also, check to see if your library has a book exchange, where you can bring in a book to swap for whatever books other patrons have donated or exchanged. I've found some awesome stuff this way. Till library school is a thing. Just some personal experience. If you stay on Reddit all day instead of going out, you usually save a lot of money. Learn to cook. It saves money and you can make almost anything from scratch that you can buy. You can find almost any recipe by googling. Leveling up also decreases crafting time. Why the heck are you in Barnes & Noble? Go to your local library, where you can get all those books for free. There are also audiobooks, movies, printing, internet, and even free passes to museums and aquariums. There is also probably a pretty solid interlibrary loan system up where you can get pretty much any book you want. Main state libraries, like the Boston Public Library, Library of Congress, or New York Public Library, are places you can pretty much get lost in for weeks. Libraries are awesome, but not always a solution for someone who wants to build up a library of their own. You can get Amazon Prime for free for a year if you have a university college email, meaning free 2-day shipping and special student deals, and I'm pretty sure you can renew it the next year as long as that email still works. PhD in the humanities here. Don't get a PhD in the humanities. This is the goodest flyboy. He will bring you 10 years of happiness in exchange for a like on this video. Like and subscribe, you magnificent person.